A woman's brain physically shrinks during pregnancy. Not swells, not gets foggy. Shrinks. Real, measurable, visible on a scan shrinkage in some of the exact regions responsible for memory, planning, and self-control. And here's the part that should scare you a little. 2 years after giving birth, that lost gray matter still hasn't come back. For centuries, mom brain was treated as a joke. Forgetful, distracted, running on no sleep. But in 2016, a team of neuroscientists in Spain scanned the brains of first-time mothers before conception and then again after birth. What they found wasn't damage. It was something stranger, a targeted, precise rewiring, like the brain was being remodeled for a job it had never done before. This is the story of what pregnancy actually does to the human brain, and why evolution may have designed it to break a mother down, just to build something better. Let's start with the study that changed everything. Hoekzema and her team at Leiden University tracked 25 first-time pregnant women. MRI scans before pregnancy, MRI scans after delivery. Then they compared those scans to first-time fathers, women who had never been pregnant, and men who had never been fathers. The result was almost eerie in its precision. Gray matter volume dropped in the pregnant women, but not randomly, not everywhere. It dropped specifically in brain regions tied to social cognition, areas involved in understanding what another mind is thinking and feeling. The kind of circuitry you'd need to read the needs of a creature that cannot speak, cannot explain what's wrong, and depends entirely on you to figure it out. The changes were so consistent that researchers could look at a brain scan alone, no other information, and correctly identify which women had been pregnant with almost perfect accuracy. Now, gray matter shrinkage sounds terrifying. It sounds like loss, like something is being taken away. But here's the twist. Neuroscientists didn't expect. This wasn't damage, it was pruning. Think of the brain like an overgrown garden. Pruning doesn't mean the garden is dying. It means the gardener is cutting away what isn't needed, so the plants that remain can grow stronger, faster, more efficient. Adolescence does this too. The teenage brain famously prunes unused connections to become more specialized. Pregnancy, it turns out, triggers a second, adult version of that same process. The regions being pruned were tied to theory of mind, the ability to model what someone else is thinking. And that's not a coincidence. That's preparation. A newborn cannot tell you it's hungry, or scared, or in pain, or too hot, or overstimulated. A mother has to infer all of that from a cry, a twitch, a gaze. Evolution appears to be sculpting the brain, months before birth, into a machine built specifically for reading a mind that has no words. But the story doesn't stop at the brain shrinking. Something else was growing. Deep in the brain sits a tiny, almond-shaped structure called the amygdala. It's the brain's alarm system, the part that detects threat, danger, emotional intensity. In new mothers, activity in the amygdala spikes when they hear their own baby cry, more than when they hear any other baby cry. Their brain isn't just noticing the sound, it's treating it as urgent, personal, non-negotiable. Some studies have found the amygdala's gray matter actually increases in new mothers, even as other regions shrink. So this isn't a brain in decline. It's a brain reallocating resources, cutting general-purpose social processing, and pouring the savings into hyper-specific, hyper-urgent infant-focused attention. It's the neurological equivalent of a company laying off half its departments to build one department that never sleeps. And the hormones behind this are staggering in scale. Estrogen levels during the third trimester can reach 1,000 times their normal baseline, a hormonal surge without real comparison anywhere else in ordinary human biology. Progesterone rises just as dramatically. Oxytocin, the so-called bonding hormone, floods the system during labor and breastfeeding, physically reshaping neural pathways tied to attachment and caregiving. This is not hormones making her emotional, which is how it's been dismissed for generations. This is one of the most intense neuroendocrine events the human body is capable of producing, arguably more dramatic, moment for moment, than puberty. For most of medical history, none of this was taken seriously. Mom brain, baby brain, pregnancy brain, these were treated as punchlines, not phenomena worth studying. Doctors dismissed forgetfulness in new mothers as stress, sleep deprivation, or simple exaggeration. It took until the 2010s for anyone to point an MRI machine at the question and actually look. Part of the reason is uncomfortable but simple. Pregnant and postpartum women were, for decades, excluded from most neuroscience research entirely, considered too complicated a population to study cleanly. So an experience that half the world's population goes through, one of the most intense biological transformations a human being can undergo, went almost completely undocumented at the level of the brain, for the better part of a century of modern neuroscience. When Hoekzema's results finally published in Nature Neuroscience in 2016, they didn't just confirm that something changes. They confirmed it changes in a pattern precise enough to function as a biological fingerprint. Show a researcher an unlabeled brain scan today, and they can tell you, with striking accuracy, whether that brain belongs to a woman who has carried a pregnancy to term. That's not mom brain as a joke. That's one of the most consistent, most reproducible structural signatures ever found in human neuroscience, hiding in plain sight, unexamined, for generations. Here's where it gets even more unsettling. Hoekzema's team didn't just scan brains once, they came back 2 years later. The social cognition regions that had shrunk during pregnancy, they were still shrunk, not fully reversed. Some researchers now argue this isn't temporary pregnancy brain at all. It may be a permanent structural signature, a mark left on the brain that never fully erases, regardless of how many years pass. Which raises an uncomfortable question. If it doesn't reverse, was it ever actually a loss? Or did evolution simply decide that once you become a mother, you don't get your old brain back, because you don't need it anymore? You need a different one. There's a theory here worth sitting with. Evolutionary biologists call it the maternal brain hypothesis. The idea that human motherhood is so cognitively demanding, so unlike anything else the brain evolved to do, that pregnancy functions almost like a second critical period of brain development, similar to what happens in infancy or adolescence. Not a malfunction, a second construction project. And there's evidence this rewiring isn't just about bonding, it's about survival math. Human babies are born catastrophically underdeveloped compared to other primates. A newborn chimpanzee can cling to its mother's fur within hours. A human infant can't even hold up its own head. Some anthropologists argue humans are essentially born 9 to 12 months early, compared to where other mammals of similar brain size would be at birth, a trade-off forced by our narrow pelvis and our unusually large skulls. That means the mother's brain has to compensate for what the infant's brain cannot yet do. The infant isn't ready, so the mother has to become hyper-ready instead. This might also explain something else that's long been treated as pure folklore: maternal instinct kicking in out of nowhere. It's not out of nowhere. It's the tail end of 9 months of targeted neurological construction, most of it happening beneath conscious awareness, invisible on the outside, radical on a brain scan. Other mammals show fragments of this same rewiring, which is how scientists first suspected humans might too. In rats, pregnancy and motherhood trigger measurable changes in the hippocampus, the brain's memory hub, and in regions tied to smell and recognition. Changes so significant that a mother rat can learn to navigate a maze faster than a non-mother rat of the exact same age. In sheep, researchers have shown that a specific surge of hormones during birth is what causes a ewe to bond permanently with her own lamb's scent, sometimes within minutes, and reject every other lamb afterward, even ones she'd tolerated just hours earlier. Humans appear to be running a far more sophisticated version of the same underlying program. Dialed up, layered with social cognition, tuned not just to scent or sound, but to something closer to full emotional interpretation. What looks, from the outside, like a mother just knowing what her baby needs, may actually be the output of one of the most specialized neurological upgrades the human brain is capable of undergoing in adulthood. There's a darker layer here too. This same rewiring has been connected to vulnerability. The same hormonal cliff that helps build maternal attachment, estrogen and progesterone crashing almost instantly after birth, is also implicated in postpartum depression and anxiety. The brain that is being precision-tuned for connection is, at the exact same time, being pushed through one of the steepest chemical drops a human body ever experiences. Sensitivity and fragility, in this case, may be two sides of the same biological coin. So when someone says a new mother is not herself after having a baby, they're right. She isn't. Not metaphorically, structurally. Her brain has been re-architected, region by region, to become something evolution decided was more useful for the task in front of her, keeping a helpless, wordless, fully dependent human alive. The old brain isn't lost, it's not damaged, and it's not less than what it was before. It's specialized, optimized for a job no other mammal on Earth has to do quite the way humans do, raising an infant that is born, essentially unfinished. Motherhood, it turns out, isn't just a role someone takes on. On a cellular level, in gray matter and hormone floods and pruned neural pathways, it's a second, quieter act of becoming a different person entirely. And unlike almost anything else the human brain goes through, this one, the evidence suggests, may never fully undo itself.